supposed to be the start to a big weekend. We've got Will Norman doesn't have a date, right? But he posted a picture just the other day of him at Florida again. It seems like it's looking good, and this could be one of those cases of like, look, it starts with Jaden Robinson, okay, and then we've got Kelby Collins on the 13th, correct? And then
it should be Kelby Collins on the 13th, Cameron James on the 14th.
Okay. And you're feeling pretty good about those two guys coming in and committing, correct? Cameron James, we've been on the radar since the beginning. Just here recently. Now he's a top 100 guy. That's going to move that ranking up a ton, more than a Jaden Robinson would. So that's going to be huge.
Yeah, so Kelby Collins, I believe he's inside of that top 100. You got Cameron James, who's I think his composite's like 188. But if you look at where he's been ranked, he keeps rising. So I would expect Cameron James to still go up from there.
Okay.
I don't know where he's going to wind up officially. I mean, it's only August. I mean, these kids could rise, they could fall. But there is a couple of guys that I've talked to with Zach Goodall and a couple other, some of these media guys that kind of cover recruiting a little bit more in depth. And he said that, he expects at least 4 or 5 of our guys to probably rise in the rankings. So with that, Florida may have way better talent than what we think that they do even right now. So I think right now, as I said, I always try to tell a lot of people like this, it's only August. We don't know where these kids are going to be ranked by February. We don't know who we're going to get by February. We don't know if there's going to be any more drama like there was, before we discussed on the show, that little Deion Sanders drama before National Signing Day, because, NIL's changed a lot. So a lot of these teams are sliding some of these big NIL deals at the last second on early and National Signing Day is sneaking up on some of these teams. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, and yes,
yeah, and Soder, to your point, man. Look, I mean, we've got a couple of kids like a Eugene Wilson, 4-star. I mean, he's ranked a consensus ranking at like a 92.3. Aiden Mazzell, who we had on here, great kid. He's ranked 4-star, and he's highly ranked as well. One solid senior year, and these kids could easily go from a national ranking of somewhere in the 90s to up in the 50s, and now you're talking about a true legitimate blue chip recruit that is a 5-star guy. So the fact that there's that many people that Billy has already got online and committed that could make a move is look, everybody's saying like, where's the 5-star? You probably already have them.
Yeah, so it has updated too, Steve. 247.
Yep, 247 updated. I see that.
We're 13th. We dropped from, I guess, behind USC. I didn't realize USC pulled in a linebacker, a 4-star linebacker, Braylon Shelby, which put them above us. So we didn't move too much by adding, again, Jaden Robinson, which we kind of felt with the 300 ranking that wouldn't be as much of a bump. Like if somebody like Cameron James commits, that's going to be a lot bigger. I see us moving into the top 10 if we have the Cameron James commit with Kelby Collins this weekend. Will Norman follows. And then we also have the Penn State flip, who hasn't flipped yet, Tamarin Parker. And he decommitted just the other day. And when that happened, there was a lot of eyeballs, a lot of gator tails floating around from, Marcus and Trayon. And Marcus, obviously, was originally committed to Penn State. So and now there's only one team that's warm, and that's Florida. So those look all very promising. That could be, like you said, it's going to be over the next few days, though, not just this weekend. It could trickle into next weekend. Is that right, David?
Yeah, it could. There's no read on Tamarian Parker when he's going to commit or not. I mean, he just decommitted. We don't know exactly how or what's going to happen. But it's like you said, you see the kids on Twitter and all that. And a lot of those kids, sometimes they tweet it out just because they want to see them come to Florida. They don't know anything. They want to see them to come to Florida. But, it does help to get like some of your commits to, maybe even at one of those other guys and get them talking or something like that. Because, I mean, the Florida was very warm with Tamarian Parker. And, I heard from David Waters today that the staff is still, going to pursue Tamarian Parker. They were still warm on him. They're not going to quit because he committed to Penn State or anything like that. So it's good to see that, you don't have like a staff like Dan Mullen that if somebody commits somewhere else, okay, well, we quit on him. We'll go get somewhere else. They keep trying to even get kids that are already committed. I mean, you've already seen them flip a couple. I guess you can't really say they flipped Trayon Webb from Penn State because he told Steve Wilfong he was going to Penn State and he went to Florida anyway. But you saw the flip of the quarterback here, Marcus Stokes. So they've shown that even if they miss on a target that they really wanted, that they have a backup plan and they're not giving up on as so and so, even if he's committed somewhere else. So I think we had this discussion last time I was on. I said, well, if Florida doesn't land Jaden Rashada, they're in a bad situation. I mean, this is a must get. Well, I was wrong, wasn't I? Well, they flipped Marcus Stokes for Penn State. Now we're sitting here with a pretty decent quarterback in our class.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something, even when the kids, John Walker and it was LeBlanc, when they both committed, they both said that, yeah, Florida, Billy both said to both of us, like, hey, I'm still coming after you guys. It's not over. It's not over till signing day, as far as I'm concerned. So it's good to hear that they're constantly going after this. And look, like I said, we get excited about these flips, and we were here trolling South Carolina watching their highlight reel. Could very happen. Same thing can happen to us. So the season's is far from over. It is. It's just getting started, honestly. But
just
exciting.
Real fast to jump in here, because there was a couple folks that were dropping in. Jonte Cook
from Texas.
I'm on his Twitter. There was a tweet that was sent to him by a Texas
same thing happened to us. So,
yeah, so it looks like they were tweeting to him after the Baxter commitment, asking him, "Hey, is it over? Are you about to commit to Texas?" And he replied, "No, I got some fire coming soon." So
he's already committed to Texas, though.
But I don't know. They're asking if it's over, and he's maybe leaving something out there for all of us to keep following him.
Who tweeted at him?
I mean, I don't think we'll know who it is.
So so it says a hard commit right now. It has him, and Florida's not even on his list.
I don't know. These guys were asking about it, so I looked it up.
No, you're good.
But hold on. Hook'em Mike on this feed says maybe another commit. Look, it's they're asking about it. There's certainly some static there. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. So yeah, we're sitting on 12 and 13th, or 12 on 3. Again, when it gets this close, I mean, it's a numbers game. These guys have their own system. Look, to me, if we finish around 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's all the same, to be honest with you. Obviously, a top 10 would sound better, right? It's like one of those things of like, hey, a first-team All-American or an All-Star, it's going to be a pin that they can add to the resume, right? I had a top 10 class, but at the end of the day, the talent-wise is going to be there, being particularly this close. I'm surprised Texas didn't creep into the top 2 by getting Cedric. I did look, and Cedric is on there, but they are still number 3, which is telling me that Notre Dame and Ohio State's class is dick. But
Jesus.
Yeah. And so we saw Dijon that's still out there. It sucks again what happened, but that one's still it feels promising. It's just he's kind of taking some time, and maybe that could be part. Have you heard anything on that, David, with Dijon? Is that going to be something that could fall over the next week or so, or is that still kind of too far out to see or hear?
I haven't heard anything negative on it. If you were to ask me still, I would still pick Florida.
Okay.
There's, as far as him taking visits or something like that, I mean, even if he does, I mean, it's his decision, whatever. I would still pick Florida in that, but the timetable on him committing anytime soon, who knows?
Okay.
Understandable. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Look, I mean, like these are kids. They've got a million phone calls and all kinds of stuff that are coming at them. Far be it from us to force a quick decision on their future. So I don't think it means anything that it's a slow decision. Just that it's a well thought out decision, and maybe waiting to see whether the options may pop up. But I mean, that's recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, when a kid decommits, he's getting blown up by everybody. And I'm pretty sure he's gotten 50, 60 phone calls from different schools. On top of that, man, I'm not really concerned about getting any kind of elite corner with Corey Raymond on staff. It's just a matter of, how much, time is he going to take? You still don't know what's going to go on with Kamani McLean. Right now, I would still pick Florida for that. But, I mean, it's only August. Everything could change on the top of the dime. But as I said, I think we're in good hands with Corey Raymond on staff. I mean, he's already got a cornerback commit right now who, he has Sharif Dedson here, but he's also got Jakeem Jackson. This is a guy, as I said, that could rise. He's at 168 right now in his composite. And ever since he's been a recruit, he's never went down in his ranking. It keeps going up. And I think, yeah, and I'm not going to promise this or anything, but like I think with some of these guys, and I've seen it in the past, that if they're they're consistently rising and they hardly ever go down, those are the kids that wind up being like top 150, top 100. In Aiden Mazelle's case, I would say top 50 or a 5-star because he's already a 72. But there's just so much talent that is on Florida's side right now. It's committed that could rise even higher. I would say about 4, 5, or 6 kids right now. But as I said, we'll have to see how the senior year shakes out. Hopefully, none of them go down to an injury. If that happens, of course, they're not going to move anywhere. But we'll see. I mean, it happened to Trayon Webb. I mean, he got hurt a little bit. His ranking went down a little bit, but we'll see what happens his senior year. Maybe he boosts that ranking a little bit. Maybe some of these Under Armour games that they play in at the end of the year boost their ranking. I've seen it happen with Tyron Hopper. He was a top 150 guy, had a really good Under Armour All-American game, almost had 3 picks in that game, and wound up being a top 100 guy by the end of the cycle. So we'll just have to see.
For sure. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see kind of how, like you said, how it all breaks down and where we end up with towards the end of the season in these guys' ranks. But let's that's a lot of good news on the recruiting side. I think we probably might have a pop-up show this week if we get a few more commits like we like to do. So just kind of keep your eyes peeled. And if you're brand new here, subscribe, turn on the bell, and be ready to rock and roll, because if we get a commit, we'll be here ready to go, ready to party. So keep your ears peeled, and hopefully we get some more good news.